Hey guys, this is Yash, and today we are going to discuss the business model of one of the largest pure play wealth management players in India. Yes, I'm talking about Nuvama Wealth. Recently, the company came out with stellar quarterly results, and I thought it would be a good idea to deep dive into the business model of the company. I'll also cover what pure play wealth management means later in the video, but for now, let's just start with the brief history of the company. So, let's start with the journey. Nuvama Wealth was established in 1993 as Edelweiss Securities Limited. The company initially started with investment banking and institutional equities and later on expanded to wealth management business in 2005. The company operated as a subsidiary of Edelweiss Financial Services Limited until 2021 when Pacific Alliance Group, which is an Asia Pacific based asset management company with $55 billion in asset under management, acquired a controlling stake in Nuvama. So after PEG's entry, the company restructured its board of management, the company strengthened its corporate governance practices, and basically rebranded itself to Nuvama Wealth. So with new identity, with new corporate identity and new logo, the company then later on got listed on NSE and BSE in September 23. So that's about the journey. Now let's talk about the business segments. Nuvama Wealth operates in three broader business segments. One is wealth management, second is asset management, and third one is capital markets. So in wealth management, Nuvama Wealth operates two sub-segments, Nuvama Wealth and Nuvama Private. Now these sub-segments are based on the client category that they serve. So we'll cover those client categories in the next slide. But basically, there are two types of client that Nuvama serves. Under asset management, the company invests this client's money into different schemes that they manage in private equity, public equities, and real estate. So they operate their own funds in these areas. Under capital markets, they provide financial services like investment banking, institutional equities, and asset services. Asset services basically include clearing and custodian services. So we'll cover that in detail in the later slides as well. So the next slide is about why Nuvama is a pure play wealth management platform. Right. So there are other players as well in the market, like brokers, domestic banks, private banks, fintechs. So they may have a wealth management arm as well. But they may not cater to all the clients, or they may not provide all the wealth management solutions. So they provide this broking and banking services, but wealth management is maybe the complementary services for them. Whereas for Nuvama, wealth management is a core competence. So it's a core service for the company. These other services like investment banking and institutional equities feed into the wealth management solutions that they provide. So, for example, Nuvama may help the company, list on the exchanges, right? They may handle the IPO as advisors, and later on, the company, help manage the wealth of the promoter family as well, right? They may provide the wealth management solutions to the promoter family as well. So according to the management, this conversion from IPO to wealth is about 30 to 35%. So in a nutshell, like all these other services that Nuvama provides, they are synergistic to the core wealth management solutions provided by the company. So in that sense, Nuvama is a pure play wealth management platform. Now, let's take the business segments one by one. So, under wealth management, as we discussed earlier, that there are two types of sub-segments. One is Nuvama Wealth and another is Nuvama Private. So, under Nuvama Wealth, the company caters to affluent and high net worth individuals. Now, this affluent may be the client category with net worth of about 1 to 5 crores, and high net worth individuals would be having 5 to 25 crores of net worth. Now, what type of clients, does Nuvama serve in this category? So they may include like SME business owners or executives of top company, right? So Nuvama serves about 12 lakh such customers under Nuvama Wealth. Now, coming to Nuvama Private, so it's a premium extension of Nuvama Wealth. Under this segment, the company serves ultra high net worth individuals, which may be having the net worth of 25 crore plus. So these category would include, say, chief executive officers, chief financial officer, basically C executives of the company. Uh, they may include promoters or entrepreneurs or basically the partners also of this large firms and family offices. So Nuvama serves all these clients under Nuvama Private, and Nuvama serves about 3,600 such clients under Nuvama Private. Now the number of clients may be smaller under Nuvama Private, but revenue per client is much higher than Nuvama Wealth because of the quantum of assets managed for these clients. Now, let's talk about the wealth management offerings. So, first one is investment solutions. So, investment solutions basically, where Nuvama helps client invest money into different assets. Invest money, right? So here Nuvama follows open architecture model. So what is open architecture? Architecture means Nuvama distributes third party offerings and third party funds as well, and as well as they operate their own funds as well. As we discussed, in the business segments, that they have their own schemes as well, and they have third party schemes as well, like mutual funds, PMS, AIF. So clients have the option to invest in any fund through Nuvama as well. So that's managed products that the company provides. Under advisory, Nuvama basically manages clients' portfolio with under investment policy statement or IPS. So what is this IPS? Basically, the concept of IPS is fairly simple. It clearly outlines clients' investing goals, asset allocation strategies, risk tolerance, performance monitoring, etc. So the IPS contain all this criteria, and Nuvama manages money according to this criteria. They also provide this research to the clients, research-based advisory. So they cover about 250 plus companies across various sectors. So they so that clients can take informed decisions as well. Next one is exchange traded products. So Nuvama is also a registered broker with SEBI. So through Nuvama, clients can invest directly into equities, currencies, and commodities through various exchanges. The next one is lending solutions. So this basically include loan against shares, trading for facilities, structured credit, and ESOP financing. So basically, if the clients have any sorts of liquid asset like equity and funds or equity funds or debt funds, clients can avail credit based on those assets from Nuvama. The next one is estate planning solutions. So these are core wealth management solutions like establishing the holding structure of the group, executing will or power of attorneys, setting up the private trust, managing estate taxes, and succession planning of the group or the family. So these kind of things, they provide these services under estate planning solutions. They may also provide this buyback, stake sale, and M&A, this corporate advisory that this big fours also provide. So they may provide these services to the promoter family as well. Under treasury services, they provide this cash management, liquidity management, foreign exchange services to this wealth management clients. So for Nuvama Private, there are some value-added services that Nuvama provides, like they facilitate opportunities in VCP space or investment banking. They provide this tax planning, tax advisory, insurance planning, or philanthropy services as well. So that's about the wealth management offerings. Now the question is, how do Nuvama lend clients, right? So Nuvama follows the hybrid model, right? So wealth management is a space where some of the offerings can be standardized, but some offerings have to be personalized, right? So Nuvama operates through a network of relationship managers, and they also have a digital platform, right? So but largely 70 percentage of Nuvama's revenue, wealth management revenue, comes from the internal relationship managers, and 30 percentage comes from the external relationship managers. Now, this internal relationship managers means the relationship managers that are hired by Nuvama, and external relationship managers are basically the channel partners of Nuvama. They may be the independent advisors. And so Nuvama has about 1200 plus internal RMs and 7000 plus external RMs. Right. So Nuvama shares about 50 to 55 percentage revenue with this external relationship managers. But as I mentioned, majority of the revenue comes from the internal relationship management teams, right? So another metric with respect to this relationship manager is relationship manager vintage. That is how long a relationship manager stays with the firm. Because if a relationship manager leaves, the client can also leave. With who this relationship manager may have developed a good rapport, good relationship. So this RM vintage is one of the important metrics to track in the wealth management space because of the credibility that RMs have with the client. So for Nuvama, it's not a problem because 65% of the RM have been with Nuvama for more than 3 years. So RM vintage is not a problem for Nuvama. Right. So we discussed how Nuvama caters, what sort of solutions Nuvama provides, and how do they approach clients. Now, coming to the wealth management performance over the years. So, client assets under this wealth management solutions increased from 1,58,000 crores to 3,46,000 crores. So, that's about 30 percentage CAGR in the client assets. Now look, there are two drivers to this growth. One is the asset pricing itself. Like if the markets have rallied by let's say 10-12 percentage, the wealth the client assets would also increase by that much percentage. But another component is the fresh monies or the growth in the savings of the clients. So these fresh monies contribute about 10 to 12 percentage growth in the client assets, and rest of the growth is basically attributable to the surge in the asset pricing. So that's about client assets. So one of the key metrics with respect to this client assets is the yield on the assets, right? So that's basically the ratio of revenue to recurring assets. So from this total client assets, about 45 to 55 percentage of the assets are recurring assets, which may be in the form of SIPs or systematic investments in the PMS or mutual funds, etc. Right? So typical yield on these assets range from 0.9 percentage to 1.1 percentage, right? So that's about client assets. So then another operating metrics is number of families served by Nuvama. So that has increased from 7 lakhs in 2021 to 12 lakhs in 2024, right? So this is about Nuvama Wealth. For Nuvama Private, the number of families have grown from 2600 to 3600 in these 3 years, right? Client attrition have remained low at 1.11 to 1.5 percentage. So typically, a client leaves Nuvama's platform only when they move out of India or something like that, something unforeseen circumstances. Otherwise, client retention is basically strong for Nuvama. Third one is a relationship manager base. So RM base has grown from 720 to 1200 plus in this 3 years. So that's about the RM base. And as we discussed, vintage remains strong. So due to this operating metrics, due to this growth in this operating metrics, the revenue has basically shown a strong CAGR of 35 percentage from 2021 to 2024. So that's about the performance of wealth management division. Now coming to alternative asset management division, so this is relatively new segment for Nuvama. So they started this segment in 2021 only. So it's relatively new. Under this segment, the company invests client assets into different schemes under private equity, public equities, and real estate. Under private equity, the company operates two funds. One is the late stage private equity fund. So that may be the growth companies, ready to be IPO'd. So this might be the mature companies which maybe mature enough to be IPO'd in a few months. So that's the late stage private equity fund. Under venture debt, the company invests in the early stage startups, while the company invests in the debt instrument in the startups. This may be convertible into equities at a later stage. So Nuvama gets that upside as well. So that's about this private equity funds. Under public equities, the company basically follows different strategies like long short strategies. So they may be able to short the opt for shorting opportunities as well. So the returns are similar to the market, but volatility is reduced through this strategy. Another one is absolute return strategy. So absolute return is basically benchmarked against debt funds. So they may offer a fixed rate of return, but under absolute return strategy, the company can invest in equities or derivatives or all sorts of instruments, debt instruments as well. So that's absolute return strategy. Last one is small and mid cap strategy. So here the company basically follows this bottom up stock selection strategy, and that takes long only positions in the market. Coming to real estate, the company established this fund with under a joint venture with Cushman and Wakefield, and the company has established about 3,000 crore of fund under this scheme, under this real estate scheme, and the total AUM across all the schemes basically total to 7,000 crores. Right. So talking about yields on this asset, on the overall assets, the yields range from 0.6 to 0.7 percentage. But this is on the overall assets. We should basically be talking about yields on investable assets, or the assets which are already investment. So under private equity or under public equity, there may be some dry powder which is not invested in the opportunities yet. So under invested assets, this yields basically roughly range from about 1 to 1.1 percentage, right? So that's about yields on assets. Now, how does Nuvama sell this asset management scheme? So that they have basically established this distribution channel through banks or independent advisors or digital channels, right? So they sell this schemes to existing clients, as well as they have established this distribution network to attract clients through various channels as well, right? So this is about alternative asset management. Now coming to the last segment, that is capital markets. Under this segment, company provides this financial services. So the first one is institutional equities, which is fairly easy to understand. So this is about institutional broking, where the company provides comprehensive research to institutional clients like mutual funds, AIFs, PMS. As we discussed earlier, like they cover about 250 plus stocks across various sectors. They also provide this trade execution services. Basically, they help clients take positions in derivatives and cash segments and those sort of things. Corporate access means they facilitate the access to dealers or the channel partners through road shows, trade shows, etc. Algo trading is also self-explanatory. They may provide algo trading platforms for the companies or for the funds that may engage in high frequency trading and such. Second one is investment banking. So Nuvama provides this full suite of investment banking services across equity and debt. So these include IPOs, QIPs, buybacks, M&A advisory, and also under debt advisory, it may include debentures, bonds, and debt syndication, those sorts of things. Asset services basically includes clearing and custody services. So here the company caters to FPIs, PMS, and AIFs. So foreign institutional investors basically have to appoint a custodian and a clearing agent if they want to invest in India. So Nuvama is also a clearing member of various exchanges. So under clearing services, they basically help clients settle the trades, especially the derivative trades, right? And also they may help in settlement of margins as well. Custody means safekeeping of assets. Safekeeping of assets. So they may hold the assets on behalf of the clients. So that's about the custody services. So across all these services that Nuvama provides, this asset services basically contribute about 60 to 65 percentage of profits, right? For of the entire capital markets profits that Nuvama generates. So these asset services are basically so this clearing assets, especially they about 60 to 65 percentage of this clearing assets are recurring revenue assets, right? So recurring revenue assets. So these recurring revenue assets provide a yield of about 1.4 percentage. So that's the so this asset services revenue are basically less dependent on the capital market cycle, unlike this institutional equity and investment banking services. So that's about capital markets. Now coming to financial performance of the company. So we broadly looked at how operating parameters have moved from for Nuvama under various segments. So we will also look at how the headline numbers have moved for Nuvama over this 3 years. So the revenue has grown from 1,000 crore odd to about 2,063 crores. So that's about 27 percentage CAGR. We also looked at client CAGR in the client assets, which was about 30 percentage CAGR. So similarly, the revenue has moved in a similar fashion. So these client assets have basically grown from 1.6 lakh crores to 3.5 lakhs crores. So that's about 30 percentage CAGR. Now this operating PAT margins. So operating PAT means excluding other revenue. So they have expanded from 32 percentage in FY21 to 50 percentage in FY24. So this shows that this operating leverage clearly playing out in Nuvama. So that's there. Cost to income ratio has declined from 73 percentage to 62 percentage, which is another way of looking at operating leverage, right? So Nuvama's business model is such that the revenue can keep on growing from the similar set of relationship managers and similar set of clients as well. So that's why there's a operating leverage in the business, and all the financial parameters have moved in tandem with the operating parameters as well. So that's the financial performance of Nuvama. I hope you like this video. Like, share and subscribe to this channel for more such deep dives. Thank you.